Welcome learners. Did you guys notice there was a star rating when we had added our design? In fact, what we had done, outlined our entire card, and within the card we had put the components for our image, for a title, and for the price. What goes behind that design and what will be the exact code that can create that design, we're going to talk in much details into the session. So tune in. What I'm going to head towards is, in the last session we were able to complete this image network part. Now in the current session I intend to complete the design according to this format. Well, what I'm going to next do is, in my common widget I'll try to create a Dart file as product list item widget. The class product list item widget would extend the stateless widget, and then I'm going to create one simple container and then move this image.network line inside my container. Well, it is kindly requiring this current product, and what I'll try and do is, in my product model, I have my current product and I'll try to use the constructor and this entire widget I'm going to show it inside my list view builder. Let me change this variable name to current product to display so that we can avoid the confusion of the exact same constructor variable to be there at both the widgets. Now upon hot reload, over here I accidentally left out a semicolon, and now upon hot reload, probably this is not going to show in any difference according to the last UI. What I'm going to next do is put over here one decoration, and in box decoration I'll put the outline border, wherein I'll see on all the sides I would require a width of 2 pixels, and this entire screen is going to have the background color to be black. Let's do a hot restart and this time see whether we get to see the products. But I did not give a color to my border, and let me fix that mistake. So I'll put over here colors.white. Now upon hot reload, what do I notice? It's very faint colors, white borders to be there. That's because in my decoration I'm going to keep my color to be transparent. Yeah, well, still this doesn't make a lot of difference. What instead I would want to do is, I'll create a padding on all the sides of 10 pixels and then squeeze the size of this particular product to have, let's say, width of 180, a height of 180, and my container to be having a height of, let's say, 250. Now when I do a hot reload, yeah, so that's the kind of a container design which we have. Well, what I think is because the images have got a white background, I'll switch this color to white, and in fact what I can next do is setting up a border radius with circular 10, and this image I'll try to have in a column format, wherein just below the image I'll show my product title. Now, the reason why I keep doing this two question mark along with a blank is because this particular variable can be null. Let's see if it is null, then an empty text shows over. Now upon hot reload, let's try and see how does this thing appear. Well, the black color text upon the black color container looks terrible, and hence what I'll try and do is over here, wherein I just have kept my background color to be black. Let me remove it. Yeah, so that's my container, and now over here I'll give this outline color to be black, which kind of shows up like this. Now the problem is over here I get to see that all the images, or in fact all the products, are sticking to each other. Hence, this time I'm going to teach to you something called as list view dot separated. The moment I do this, I have yet another separator builder in which I can put build context, int index, and then define how my separator will appear like. So let's say I'll put with a height of 10. You'll notice that all the containers now got separated with a height of 10 pixels, and in fact there is this one product. Let me just try scrolling to that point. Yeah, that's kind of exceeding the height which I have set to my container. That's over here. Let me remove it and let the container take all the size it would want. Yeah, so with this you now notice that no longer I get to see that error. However, what I would want to do is make this to be center aligned. So I'll set the text style as font weight dot w 500. That is, I'm trying to increase the thickness, and my text align to be center. Upon hot reload, I should be able to see those changes, and like you see, the text has bit got to be thick and it looks kind of decent. Next, on the margins on my container, I'll see that I'll require the left margin and the right margin to be spaced out with 10 pixels, and you'll notice this is the container. Now what I intend to do is this 20% off. Well, do you notice it's kind of stuffed into the image? That's because over here it's stacked upon this image, and I'll take this stack builder, my mistakes, I'll take the stack widget and in position, that is from the top, let's say 10 pixels, and oh, in fact I should put this as from the right, let's say 10 pixels. I should be having this text widget for 20% off to show up. What I'll try and do is put this in a separate container that will have the color to be red and show up this text. Let's try and see how does this thing appear. Well, this appears over here like on the top and on the right side, but it kind of sticks to the image. So what I'll do is over here inside the container, I'll give it a bit amount of padding, and I'll see that on all sides I have to have the padding for 6 pixels. Yeah, now what do you notice? The 20% off is clearly showing up. What this indicates is now I can even play along with the color for the text. I'll put style, text style, and set up the color to be white. Yeah. So basically all the item now shows up this 20% off. Now moving ahead, I would want to show up this count and this 4000. So below my column, wherein at the end I'll put a row and I'll put current product dot count dot rating dot count, and if it is null I'll put it as 0.0. Now they all being integers, I have to keep them inside double quotes, and let's try and see how does this thing appear. Yeah, so it shows just the number. I actually would need the word count to show up. Yeah, so this shows up how many pieces of that particular product is been left out. Now what I can again try and do is put a colon here and then just Control D to talk about the price, and I'll put my price variable here. When I do a hot reload, you'll notice that the count and the price are sticking to each other. However, I would want to have on the main axis to have a space between them. The moment I apply this property, you'll notice that on the row there's a space between the both text widgets. That's exactly what even I wanted to have in my UI. Now I'll put a sized box so that they don't stick to the previous widget inside the container. Yeah, this kind of looks clean, and now the task remains to add this particular stars onto my card. Well, what I'm going to do is this time add a new plugin for my star rating, wherein I'll take this star rating plugin, then go to my pubsec YAML file and I'll say display star rating for products. Then I'm going to remove my app from the run and do a pub-get. Till the point my star rating pub-get is in progress, I'll copy this and I'll look into the example rather hand that's over here. Yeah. So what I'll try and do is I'm looking for star rating or the builder component. Yeah. So over here, I'll pick this star rating, which says that this is an horizontal example, and I also intend to show it with horizontal star rating only. And what I'll try and do is on top of my stack, I'll put my star rating widget. Well, it shows an error. Let me just take the import, put the value as 4 and never change, or in fact remove this on value changed. So let's see how does this thing appear. I'm going to run my app and wait until the APK gets installed once again. So here's my app. Which shows 4, 5.0. That's because that's the max rating, and each product kind of shows that human stars. Well, what I would want to do is on the star rating wherein I have this, I would want to load the stars, and this time the value is going to be current model dot rating, and over here I'll put my rating, and if it is by any chance to be 0, then I'll set it to 0. Well, it says num cannot be assigned to double, and in that case what I'll try and do, over here wait, I can also try and change, and I'll put to double. Yeah. Upon hot reload, let's try and see. And yes, what I notice is I get the star rating. Next, I'm going to align it to the right side. So I'll put alignment top right. I'll do a hot reload. Yeah, and it goes to the top right. I'll put a bit amount of spacing so that I can see the star widgets as well as my image with a bit amount of a gap. So I'll copy this and paste it after my align. And that's exactly how I wanted this entire widget to look like. In fact, it looks pretty much clean, and I'm quite satisfied with the output which we have. Hopefully the entire demonstration was very beautiful to see. That's because now we have our entire product listing screen to be complete. In the next session, we're going to discuss about the product detail screen, wherein I'm going to pick the product ID, and then only the product ID which has been selected will show up on the product description screen, wherein your user can actually read about the product and then make a decision to go ahead and buy it. We're going to discuss into a lot more details into our next session. So stay tuned and keep learning with open minds.